work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all know what it is. I know we'll be gone back like it never left before. E2G Sports Network presents First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So you hear the intro fall in, your favorite vets on the Nets. I know we've been going for a little bit, but we're back. At least I'm back right now. So y'all hear hard work, work. So of course, with all that, of course, hard work has been keeping us away. Of course, had a little couple of things going on early mornings. Y'all know the old thing. We do more before 6:30 than most do in the whole day. That's what I had going on the last couple of days. Ron, he's in the building. What's good, bruh? So yeah, a lot was going on over the course of the last 48 hours, you could say. Starting out, y'all last seen us on Monday, Friday. But then after that, it was just like I don't want to say, but we're going hard. It was going hard, real hard in the paint. Thank you, buddy. Of course, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Happy Thanksgiving to the E2G Sports Network family. Uh, Happy holidays in any case. Uh, but yeah, definitely without a doubt, it was a lot going on. So let me give the rundown real quick because I got a special congratulatory shout outs to a couple of organizations and teams. So on Fort Polk, I work for Fort Polk NWR Sports as a sports specialist. And what has become customary is to have a quote unquote turkey bowl, or basically a bowl to where the battalions play against one another to determine who is the top battalion when it comes to flag football. And it's a tournament, 8 teams put together for this particular one. So it's going on 4 years running. So over the course of the last 4 years, I think 2 teams from MEDAC have won. The first 2 last year, a team for 46 engineers won, and this year, the team from the 509th Airborne Company or Battalion were victorious in what came down to be a overtime victory. It was crazy. It was a pretty good game. Actually, all of them were good games. It was some that seemed like it was going to be a blowout, and then basically they was turned around. But in state, it was a very good game, especially the last one. The whole tournament, we hadn't seen the overtime victory, overtime game. And then in grand fashion, the championship game came down to an overtime to where for me, I do a penetration rule, which basically means you have to be deeper in your own opponent's territory to get the win. And in this case, you alternate between 4 downs going back and forth to achieve that deep penetration. And the teams it pitted against the 10509th Airborne Battalion versus the what was the 310? 310 is the major brigade on our installation. 310 10th Mountain Brigade had an all-star team that composed of the units within their the brigade. So it was against their all-star team in which they had an opportunity to win. It was tied 20-20 at the end of regulation. During that time frame in which they ended up they basically ended up going back and forth. 2020 was the last second a touchdown, tried it at last second touchdown, put it at 18 to 20. Initially, it was 18-19 because it was a discrepancy in the score between the score and the official time, the official score. So once the team win the score, they were up 19-20 with 30 seconds left in the game. But there was a lot of people had some questions about the score. So of course it was easy. I walked over to the official and asked him what did he have for a score, in which he informed me that the score was 20-20, and we went ahead and hashed that out. And then they was talking about how many timeouts was left and all this type of stuff. But in state, it was 30 seconds left in the game. A couple of plays later, all time extended. So the rule, penetration rule, we went back and forth. First two, I believe it was the first two downs. 509 wins the coin flip, so they elect to go on offense first. Their first play incomplete. Next play for 310 blue, correct. The next play for 310 blue, they go down incomplete, or run it back. 509 gets it again. They get in the territory. 310 gets the ball. They push it in the territory. Then 5 now gets it and it gets some distance. 310 gets further distance into the territory. So at this point, it's looking like 310 is basically about to. Correction, 509 was pretty deep. 310 basically pushed it into the 509 territory about 25 yards on their third attempt. So now you come down to what now is the 310 is 509's last attempt. And in 509's last attempt, um, they give a nice good heave in which the player puts the well, correction, I go back. 310 put it into their into the 509 territory, which is like, okay, it's looking like it's going to be over. So only thing 310 needs to do is knock down the ball or clause it incomplete, because they're not going to need another opportunity to do it because they was up, and this is 509's going into their fourth attempt. So 509 gets the ball on what is, I believe, in the 310s, around the 310 20-yard line, and he puts up a prayer. That's basically what it was. It was a prayer. And their best receiver is probably about 5'6" or something like that. But he puts up the prayer. They throw up a prayer. He puts it up, and the safety, instead of knocking down the ball or securing it with one hand or tipping it away, he did none of that. He basically put up one hand, I guess, trying to get the one-handed interception. It bounces off his hand to an oncoming 509 receiver who catches the ball and starts running down the field till he's the flag. So now, instead of walking off with the trophy, 310 is looking at a situation to where they need to get about 21 yards for them to win the game. And of course, it falls incomplete, and 509 walks off with the championship trophy. It was real. It was a pretty good night. Outside of the fact that I had been working all that time frame, it ended up being a pretty good game. So it did in grand fashion. The commanding general and the garrison commander and the command team were all out there presenting the awards. They gave away some 509 swag, and went from there. Ron, what's good, brother?
I'm just tuning in. This game sound intense.
It was, bro. They was going hard out there. Yeah, I could imagine what it sounded like if they was cracking pads, but they went at it. The commander general made it. He's like, next year we're gonna play tackle. What y'all think? And everyone's like, who? Like, yeah, people say who, but then they'd be like, you don't really want those problems. That's not what y'all really want. But that's not going to happen. There's no way in form I can sit up and I wouldn't even dare talk about playing some contact.
Yeah.
I see you in the Eagles. Is that are you switching teams for the year? Is you going back to the home team? That's what we doing. I see.
What you mean? It's always been the squad. There's no other team. What other team are you talking about?
I see. I can get with it. I guess if
Fly, Eagles,
Eagles
fly.
There you go.
I don't know what a ram is. I don't have to be miserable. I choose not. It's a sad state of affairs. I'm not gonna be depressed as a sports fan.
No, that's not what he's like. I put too much time into this.
Condolences, RIP to the Los Angeles Rams. My heart, but Trey, it's y'all year. Make us proud in the West.
Like it's like passing the mantle like they passed the Black Panther to Shuri.
Right. Giving the mantle on.
Yeah, so just saying, definitely that. So a couple of things real quick to start off. Of course, y'all know the holidays are coming up. Glad to say happy Thanksgiving to those Thanksgivings tomorrow. Ron, what is your go-to? What has to be at every Thanksgiving dinner that you gotta have, or what you look forward to the most? What is Thanksgiving?
Sweet baked macaroni and cheese. And it better be
No
baked
doubt.
right. And it
Say
better be
less.
one thing you can't mess up, and them candy yams, sweet potatoes better be perfectly sweet to mix right with them. Candy yams and sweet and mac and cheese. Easy.
You see that they go next to each other on your plate?
Yeah.
So that way you can get
at
that.
the same time.
So you get that even blend. Is like the candy yam, the syrup from the candy yam runs underneath the baked macaroni and cheese.
I think those are the two most essential.
I could taste that. I could taste that meld right now, but I'm not a big sweet potato person. Now, without a doubt, like you said, the macaroni and cheese, without a doubt, and it has to be a certain macaroni and cheese. It got to be a certain blend, and it has to have that right mixture of that meld holds it together. But if not, then I eat it. But in my mind, I'm really thinking like, yo, this is whack. I was like, this is not the business. But of course, you're not going to sit up and say that when people have gone and put together stuff. And I'm a person that eats everything that's on my plate, regardless if it's whack or not, because I don't want to offend nobody. But because I think I asked for it, so it's on my plate now.
Okay, major pause then. What's your meats? And fried or regular turkey?
So I have never had a fried turkey. I say that I have never had a fried turkey. I don't think I have. I don't
First
eat pork.
Foundation family, Cyro, we gotta change that. Somebody go bring Trey some fried dang turkey. That's ridiculous.
So I think this year we get the smoke one. I think it's a smoked joint that we're partaking with. So I eat turkey.
I don't think I've ever had a smoked turkey. That sounds delicious.
So it actually was pretty good. Last year we had a Cajun one that wasn't hidden really. It was like it was one of those season situations like like I ate it. I was like But so I don't eat pork, so ham is out the window.
No ribs.
Only, you know what? It's funny that you say that, right? Because I remember, because you're saying back in California where I was raised at, my sister's father, who is from the state of Texas, one year we didn't have turkey. It wasn't traditional, or so to me, it wasn't traditional. We had ribs at that point. And it was like at that point, of course, I was eating pork ribs at that point because I stopped eating pork like in '94. But so we had ribs at that point, and I got like clowned. I got like dragged because the people was like, "Oh, you had ribs for Thanksgiving, y'all poor." Yeah, so that type of stuff. But so when you say that, I eat ribs only if they're beef ribs. They got to be beef ribs. So beef ribs, that's what it sounds pretty good right now. But yeah, so it's like I had yeah, some ribs. Like I take some ribs for Thanksgiving. But yeah, so Thanksgiving, yeah, so it like the meat would be turkey, and ribs. I know some people might do pot roast or something like that, or meatloaf. I don't like meatloaf either. I can't stand meatloaf. Yeah, so for the most part, for me, it's a lot of turkey. And then you see everyone, like, of course, people have stuff like etouffees and stuff like that, dirty rice. But I try not to eat everyone's dirty rice because people have different variations of dirty rice. And my variation only has ground beef in it, but I know theirs doesn't unless they got sausage, certain type of sausage. Like I eat, like you said, Paul, sausage. Like like I love the sausage, sausage. But yeah, so I get down with that. Only turkey or beef, like, and a lot of times I don't eat that stuff because if I can't verify and confirm that it's not, I won't eat it because, of course, yes, it could be turkey or beef sausage, but the casing might be pork. So I have to see labels. Like I be on some like let me check the label type stuff, in which kind of like messes up. So yeah, that's definitely without a doubt some of the stuff in which uh, I take on. What about you? What's the ones you're looking for the holiday? Come tomorrow.
Um, I was raised traditional for the most part. Grandma
Mm-hmm.
made sure that there was a turkey and a ham at just about every Thanksgiving. I don't think there was really any other meats outside
Mm-hmm.
of that I can think back. And that makes me think about what you was talking about with the ribs. You know, tr- I don't I don't think that I've never really saw a time where people clown ribs as being poor. Maybe it was a
Mm-hmm.
holiday thing, but I think they just weren't appreciated as much back in the 90s. Like we didn't really, come out and get our Uncle Converses, them white
Mm.
Uncle and really start whipping out the grill. Really early 2000s is really, cookouts and everything, family reunions really started getting jumping like that, and the ribs came out and started getting appreciated, and grilling and smoking really started to take off. I think that could be it a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like ribs is definitely now a lot of people would say is a holiday go-to, as it wasn't really back in the days.
Mm-hmm. It is. So it's definitely like that. Like I said, I could get down with the mac and cheese. Um,
So is it dressing or is it stuffing? That's the
it got
question.
it's stuff. It is like, you know what? I only prefer stovetop. I don't like people. I know people make homemade. It's just some stuff like, what, I don't eat cornbread. It's like some people be like, "Yo, give me your card, man." But I don't eat cornbread. It's like I'm not a big soul food type person, for the most part. So certain things, um, in which I had, but so I
Yeah, I'm
consider it.
taking notes. Oh, we're about to reach.
It's like we're gonna
We
have to
got
like say
one
we have to
more.
revisit this.
That was okay. With the sweet potatoes and yams. Then you said cornbread. One more strike tray.
Man, I don't like, bro. And it's probably coming. And, like I don't sit up and eat. Of course, like I said, with me not eating pork, of course, the chitlins is out. So
That's acceptable though. You don't
yeah,
do pork.
yeah. So it's like that type of stuff. But but yeah, it has to be. Stuffing. It's definitely like you said, stuffing. I consider it stuffing. Um, for the most part. But yeah, so I most like, but anything the number one is the macaroni and cheese. Mac and cheese is definitely the number one, which I look forward to sink my teeth into, and then hopefully it's up. And so I think this one is supposed to be visiting like friends and family, so it will be having an array of different things. And so I definitely see what's up. I give you my what the one to 10 5-star rating for my Thanksgiving meal come this Thursday. So now I'm hoping ribs is in it. Or maybe I have to be the person to bring ribs, or just get some ribs, or cook some ribs, one of the two. Um, so of course, oh snap, hold on.
You just realized we only live on YouTube.
So it's saying, oh, I see people starting to tap in. I see people looking now. What is going on, bruh? Let me
I thought
see.
I thought you were switching it up.
No, it messed up. Of course, last week because they had a couple of discrepancies on they had a couple of discrepancies. No, we live on our page. Let me see if it's live on mine. It was a couple of discrepancies with
Yeah, I looked on.
StreamYard and it was discrepancies with StreamYard as well as on Facebook. So yeah, we're live. We're live everywhere. So yeah, we good. We should be good. I'm starting to see people tap in and stuff like that. Um, what's this?
Make sure y'all like and share.
Yeah, so I think people starting to get some viewers tapping in. Of course, you don't know if you're watching on YouTube and stuff like that unless they message. But yeah, so and then it depends on what Facebook user. Happy Thanksgiving, Facebook user. We can't tell who you are, but saying Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Happy holidays.
But yes, that's the correct term. The correct term. Happy holidays. So
Right. Tell family, make it about love. Tell somebody you love them.
always that. He never knows that might be someone need to hear. Sometimes you get people just out the blue, people come and hit you with something. You be like, you know what? I feel that's completely genuine. A person that I haven't engaged with. So with the of course, yesterday, because of all the festivities and stuff going on, and I completely forgot. Yesterday, I realized late that the CFB came out. The CFP came out, and roughly before I get to that, I didn't realize that it was rumored that Lane Kiffin was going to accept the job to become the next Auburn Tigers head coach, in which he basically came out and stated that all that is a fallacy and that he's not one to really go back and forth with with those type of rumors and stuff like that. Uh, to where all of it's being to where everything is to where they're talked about how that the that he doesn't engage with that. So he's basically had a meeting and he went and spoke to his players yesterday and told him that currently his focus is on that of the his focus is basically on that with his team, missing because they played Mississippi State this weekend. So he's like, that's where their focus is. They're not looking at anything else now. At first, I was on when I was like, I do not know why this is doing this. Um, at first, I was on one to where I was like, it's being talked about, um, in reference to he wasn't buying into that. But then I realized like that he's not saying that he's not going to take the job. He's just saying that he's not interested in the position currently, and why potentially he can end up becoming their head coach at the end of the year. So of course, more to be to come out on that. Um, but
That's Lane
what
Kiffin, right?
Yeah, Lane Kiffin, yes. But of course, what really what
I don't
really
even know if I like that for Auburn, but
to become for him to become the head coach?
yeah, it's like we know what it's going to look like. It's going to try to rival Alabama. He may, get them back to some really promising statures, but I, I would. They just need to go young and find somebody grow. Like this is a show we've already seen.
Mm. So I look at it as at this point, Lane Kiffin has bounced back and forth between. He's bounced back and forth. He went from USC. I mean, he left Tennessee to go to USC. Then he left USC, or he was fired from USC. He went to Alabama. Then he left Alabama and went to FIU. He left FIU to go to Ole Miss, and now he's gonna for the fourth time Fourth school, he's going to be in the SEC. Now, like you said, Auburn, where now he's a direct rival, or with Auburn as Auburn's head coach in the Iron Bowl to face off against Alabama. Is like, has he really taken the outside of FIU? Has he really went and turned a program around yet? And I don't think, yeah, exactly. That I don't think so either. I was like, I think he hasn't done that exactly yet. He's a coach that saying that could coach, but is he a coach that where he can go to somewhere and be like, you know what, we're good. I'm going to be here. I'm going to set up shop here, and we're going to make this happen. And that's why I think he's definitely lacking that. That's not going to happen. So, but he said
he's at Ole Miss right now, right?
Yeah, he's at Ole Miss right now. So he's in the SEC. He's been at Alabama as an offensive coordinator. He's been to Tennessee as a head coach. He's at Ole Miss now as a head coach, and it's rumored that he will be in. He will go to Auburn to where he'll be a head coach there as well.
Like, if you're an Auburn fan, or what do you say? Awesome. Can't wait for next season.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna say it's like, okay, he's here, and see where it goes from there. So, but additionally, also before we really get into the CFP, because that really got me a little twisted this morning when I first seen it. You have so there was a bit of syringes that took apart. So there was a player, a linebacker from USC that perished and passed away a while ago, in which his widow tried to put forth a class action lawsuit against the university, stating that it was because of the university in which he ended up contracting CTE, or the brain trauma injuries. Of course, it was unfounded. They turned it around, but had they won that case, can you imagine what the backlash would have been if they had basically if the courts would have sided with that family? Like, the outcome would have been tremendous. When you look at now, all these people are looking at, like, it starts out in college to these potential with these injuries. So all in all, it basically came out that they stated that it was a something wrong. All in all, it came out that it came out basically that it's not founded, that all these injuries in which he had were some of them, his injuries, what he succumbed to, did not have to do with his program. With him being at USC, and that he had other ailments and stuff like that that contributed to his death, and they said basically he was going to pass anyway. So it was more likely, more so, those in cirrhosis, liver cirrhosis, and all this type of stuff that contributed to his death. So I just looking at that. That was, I mean, that's a paraphrase of everything. Of course, it's a little deeper than that, but that was one of the things. But now let's get deeper into this, Ron. So, of course, the CFP came out last night. And the CFP from top to bottom, of course, you have number 25, Louisville. Number 24, Cincinnati. Texas is number 23. Number 22, UCF. 21, Oregon State. At number 20, Ole Miss. 19, Tulane. UCLA falls to number 18. University of North Carolina at number 17. 16, Florida State, quietly moving around. At number 15, Notre Dame. 14, Utah. 13, Washington. Kansas State is number 12. At number 11, you have Penn State. Number 10, Tennessee. 9, Oregon. Number 8, Clemson. Number 7 is Alabama. Now we have the top 6. Top 6 being USC. At number 5, LSU. 4, TCU. 3, Michigan. 2, Ohio State. And Georgia, number 1. So,
Why they disrespecting USC like that?
Why are they disrespecting USC like that?
You said top 6. I tuned in on 6. I'm like, okay, that's why he had to make it known.
Why? Is a 2-loss LSU a better candidate than a 1-loss USC? Not to mention the 1-loss SC came to then ranked, now currently ranked number what's Utah? Number 14 Utah Utes, who have been in the top 25 consistently. But that's where our loss came to. Is the fact that LSU beat Alabama when they were a top 5 candidate, is that victory holding that much weight to where they're a 2-loss team that hasn't won yet? That's only that's been beating a couple of top 10, but they beat. Did they beat Tennessee, or did they lose to Tennessee?
Bama,
LSU.
LSU lost to Tennessee if they played.
So
Tennessee,
they lost. So
yeah, Tennessee lost to Bama, and they lost last week to
Oh yeah, you're right. So they had to be correct. That is a good analogy. Good. So yeah, so LSU, Tennessee has lost to Georgia, and they lost. They got scrubbed by South Carolina.
Yeah, them Gamecocks.
Rattler.
You know what I think it is. As you was reading the list, my first thoughts is, ooh wee. Let's see which the division is the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even in my head no more. Of course, it's SEC anymore. So as we get to these top couple of teams, I'm like, we know the SEC has fallen, but yet blatant in our face is still SEC bias, despite evidence that we see that Alabama, y'all aren't that good. LSU's right there with y'all, as well as a bunch of other teams. The only one that stood above was Georgia. So why Alabama and LSU was in the top 7 and we got all these other teams behind them that's just as good blows my mind.
You got Alabama with 2 losses, a 2-loss Alabama and a 2-loss LSU is over a 1-loss Clemson.
We're going to have to fix it. We're going to have to call in because that number 4 spot, I mean, honestly, if we being real, if it's not going to be Alabama at number 4, it needs to be USC. What are we doing with TCU? What are we doing?
And so this is what I get from TCU. The only reason TCU is in that is locked in there is because they have about 5 or 6 top 25 wins. And so I understand that. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start looking at it, like we have Michigan and Ohio State, who have only played maybe 2 or 3 top 25 personnel throughout the year. Of course, University of Georgia has played a lot due to the fact that they give so much bias in the SEC where they're ranked. So everyone they're playing is ranked for the most part on a consistent basis. So, and then TCU, like I said, they played a good amount. I mean, you see the setup. Michigan and Ohio State play this week. Number 2, and number 3. I'm very sure game day is pulling up to Ohio. Is pulling up to where is it at? In Ohio State, is at the shoe, right? The game.
Unfair for us.
Yes. So Michigan is, saying Ohio State and Michigan play each other. One of those have to lose. You would think if Michigan can slay the dragon yet again, that the worst is going to be Michigan is going to move up to number 2. Ohio State is going to drop to number 3 or number 4. Ohio State is not falling out the top 5, out the top 4 if they lose. Now Michigan, they might do. Okay, I can see that. So if Michigan goes and takes an L, Michigan is going to fall out the top 5, the top 4. Definitely, Michigan's going to fall.
Dang, so they're going to move us out on the road, but they won't move Ohio out.
Yeah, I don't see them moving Ohio State out on a loss. I don't see them moving out Ohio because Ohio State is going to drop to the number 4 or even the number 3 spot when you have a 2 versus 3, and then that's going to be. And so now you look at if USC was to take care of because LSU has Texas A&M this week. If
Did we
USC was to take it, what you say now?
No, go ahead.
I was about to say if USC, who has Notre Dame, number 15 ranked Notre Dame this week, if they take care, would they take care of business if they take care of business against Notre Dame, is that enough to put them above a game in which LSU is playing Texas A&M? Not to mention if Ohio State or TCU, it's like I don't foresee TCU. TCU is not coming out the TCU is a C. TCU and Georgia are guaranteed a CFP spot, in my opinion. And then of course one of the winner of the well, no, I can't say that yet.
So
Presumably the
TCU,
winner.
they don't got nobody tough this weekend?
No, TCU plays Iowa State.
We need them to lose, man. This is ridiculous.
So TCU, I think TCU is golden. They're good. So USC is really fighting an uphill battle, and what you cannot tell me is the fact that they lost to a top-ranked Utah team, even though USC was ranked above them, but they lost to a top-ranked Utah team. That USC is a one loss to a top player. You got to look at Utah got smacked. Oregon got smacked in the first game of the season by a ranked opponent, and yet they have been around all season long. USC lost to Utah, dropped to number 15, currently is back up to number 6, already punched their ticket to the Pac-12 title game, to where they're going to end up playing a ranked opponent because Washington is ranked, Utah is ranked, and Oregon is ranked. They're going to play one of those three, depending on if Oregon can beat Oregon State. And hell, Oregon State is ranked too. If Oregon can beat Oregon State, Oregon is going to be who USC plays in the national in the Pac-12 championship. If Oregon loses, that opens the door for Washington or Utah to get back in and play. So why is that so hard or unfathomable? And why is LSU still ahead of USC when it comes down to it? At 9-2, and USC is 10-1. So if USC, I think USC has to win out and gets those three, and gets to get like I said, the first leg was them getting UCLA, in which was a hell of a game. Now they have to sit up and take care of Notre Dame, who has walked back into the fray with the late surge. Now they have to take care of Notre Dame, and then they have to take care of whoever who's going to be a top ranked opponent when they play in the Pac-12 championship. That's 3. That gives them 4 top 25 ranked teams in which they played at that time, to where they've 3-1 in that. That is up against the resume of LSU at this point, who has played whoever top people they have played, but we know they've lost at least 2 of them people. And I just don't get it. I don't get what the disrespect is, but I foresee Georgia right now. If I had to say what it was going to go down, I don't think I can say this at least. I don't think the top 4 is going to remain. It's going to hit these top 4 is not who we're going to have for the CFP. I don't think it's possible. Of course, all this falls apart if USC loses to Notre Dame or in the Pac-12 championship, in which at that point I digress. But I really don't see. I don't see Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU being the CFP players. I think you definitely get a UCLA or UCLA in. Good morning. Sorry, Hoops Facebook user. I know we had 2 of them. Good morning. Glad to have your information with us this morning. A little technical difficulties and why I'm not getting why the streaming is off, but hopefully we get it fixed by even Friday or next Monday. Yeah, so that's what we have for the CFP. A little going on in the NBA, as there were 4 games, I believe, last night. Correction, 6 games. There were 6 games last night to where my NBA. Wow. Hey, okay. What's good? What's good? What's good, Frat? Glad to have you formation with us, bro. Um, Basically, what we have is the Hawks faced off against the Cavaliers last night. Cavaliers got the W, 114 to 102, 11-6 on the year, 10-7, 10-7 for the Atlanta Hawks. Last night, of course, the team led by Trae Young's 25 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists, 18 points, 10 rebounds for the second year player, Anika, I'm sorry, Nganku from USC represent. AJ Griffin, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 16 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists from John Collins. DeJounte Murray with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 rebounds from Aaron Holiday. The Cavaliers led by Donovan Mitchell's 29 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. 26 points, 9 assists from Darius Garland. 23 points, 3 rebounds from C.D. Osman. Even Mobley, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. 8 points apiece from Jared Allen, who's back after he sitting out a little bit with his injury. LeVar Stevenson at 8 points as well. Allen, 11 rebounds. Stevens, 3 rebounds. And that was it for the most part. I would have expected more at this point from the Javante and DeJounte and Trey. Do you think it's just a little too early, Ron, or is it? Do you think it's not the best pairing and what we thought initially?
Um, it's crowded. It's definitely crowded in their backcourt, and they have a lot to figure out. It's not as fluid. They're definitely looking to make a big move. I know one of the guards from their backcourt that the Hawks are trying to move is what's his name? It's the European cat, Bogdan. I think it's
Bogdanovich,
not.
Bogdanovich, one of the
Yeah,
Bogdanovich brothers.
one of the Vitches. I know they're looking to move him. Which he's a dope. He came from the Kings. He's a dope guard. Dope off
Mm-hmm.
the. But he's just where does he fit in? Like any
Mm-hmm.
minutes that Trae Young's playing, just about every minute a game, 38 minutes a game, 36 average, somewhere around there. All that extra space is going to just Devontae. And they got a couple other guards that get some run that it's just cramped. And I think they're trying to they make a move to get like another wing or something to kind of even out the spacing between them. Uh Hawks are 10-7. They were hot a little bit to start the season, but they definitely fell off. In this game alone, Trae Young and DeJounte, a total of 1 for 11 from the three. 2 for 11, excuse me. They both made 1 3 from 11. Minus 19 for Trae Young, -6 for. Maybe they just were on the road and went up against a way superior team.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs are a way superior team to the Hawks. This is
Mm-hmm.
it's levels. Like the Cavs, when we look at the Cavs, we got to figure out if they're ready to, come at Big Bro's door in Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
come for that top spot. Which, as we progress through these games for Monday night, somebody was smoking that Celtics pack.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the top dogs out east, but the Hawks
Yes.
not it.
Of course, continue on with the games one night. The Pacers beat the Magic 123 to 102. The Thunder were defeated by the Knicks 129 to 119. The Pelicans on the road steamrolling the Warriors 128 to 83. The Bucks edge out the Blazers with a 119 to 111 score. The Bulls take down the top Boston Celtics team 121 to 107. The Timberwolves were victorious 105 to 101. And lastly, the Clippers pulled out the game 121 to 114. As basically that topping it up to where it could potentially lead in as the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and sustained a ankle sprain during that game, which is going to have him out for tonight's game. So Kawhi will be out. Paul George will be out with a hamstring tendon
Oh my God.
strain. Luke Kennard is out with an ankle strain. John Wall is still on minutes restrictions. So, but we'll tap into that in a second. Of course, last night's game, the first of a few. Well, it was four of them. It was only four of them. The Pistons took on the Nuggets.
4 good ones.
Yes, the Pistons and the Nuggets, although the records would not say this was a good one, but the score says differently. The Nuggets was victorious 108 to 1. Oh, correction. The Nuggets fell to the Pistons 110 to 108. Detroit 4-15. That means they was 3-15 prior to the win. The Nuggets 10-7 now. Bojan Bogdanovic 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists for the Pistons. Alec Burke, 21 points, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist from Kevin Knox II, 14 points, 3 assists from Marvin Bagley, 5 points from Isaiah Lewis, Jaden Ivey, 7.6 rebounds, 5 assists, Jalen Duren, 4 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 points for Corey Joseph, and Diallo has 6 points to contribute as well. The Nuggets, 31 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists for Nikola Jokic, 17.7 rebounds, 1 assist. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., 18 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists from Bruce Brown Jr. DeAndre Jordan, 1.4 rebounds, 2 assists. Kentavious Caldwell Pope contribute with 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. 10 points additionally, 1 point and 1 rebound, and 8 assists from Jamal Murray. Bones Highland, 2 points in 9 minutes of play. But in all that output compared to what we heard from the Pistons, the Nuggets still lost. Obviously, we see Nikola Jokic is still his team, even with Jamal Murray back, even with the firepower of Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter. But they are 10-7. Ron, do you think this is just a little bump in the road and it's just a matter of trying to get that chemistry back with Murray being back in the fold?
They may be young, but they ready. The Detroit was just clicking, which is crazy because their point guard didn't even play last night.
Cunningham.
Cunningham didn't even play, but Detroit, I like their bench. They got some ballers on the bench, and then when I look at Denver's bench, they were all horrible, and there's nobody you would think would be relevant in an early game in the year where you need to be deep. That's the teams that we're seeing that's really put together stretches of wins. Is teams that are deep. Shout out to Sacramento Kings. They just won 8 in a row. Another deep squad. But Denver Nuggets, they're top heavy. Porter, Murray, and Joker, they all had incredible games, but that's it. Like we just said, the Hawks got a guard that's available that he will fit great on this Denver bench. And Joker will have some European ties right there. I don't know. Maybe let Aaron Gordon go to the Hawks. He might fit better with Trae Young. I don't know. Don't let me I'll be trying to make trades.
Like I tried this simulator. It said it works, so let's see if it works here. Just as you were saying, shout out to the Sacramento Kings, 10-6 on the year after their victory last night. Like Ron said, another good game as the Sacramento Kings took care of business, knocking off the Memphis Grizzlies 10-8 with a 113-109 victory. The Kings, led by De'Aaron Fox's 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Harrison Barnes turning back the hands of time, 26 points, 4 rebounds. Domantas Sabonis, he didn't get all the points in the score too much, but he took care of business on the boards. 9 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists from Malik Monk. Kevin Horton, 18.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 10 points from Chimezie Metu. Davion Mitchell, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Trey Lyles with 3 points. For Keegan Murray, 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists on their night. The Grizzlies, led by Ja Morant, 34 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist from Jared Jackson Jr. as he's kind of like trying to get his footing as he comes back off his injury. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists from Tyus Jones. Connard with 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Steven Adams, 5 points, 16 rebounds. And Dylan Brooks, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Brandon Clark, 6 points, 7 points from Aldama. It's clear that Ja is missing his backcourt mate. As of course, Desmond Bain is expected to be out. I think 3 to 4 weeks with his injury that started last week. So that output, but Bain is definitely missing.
Very, very true, very true. But I hate to do this because Ja is literally my favorite player. The remix of AI, from the reason why I fell in love with the game. It's just beautiful watching him fly up and down. This L is on you, sir. This L is on you last night. In the clutch, he had 20 points in the fourth quarter, Trey.
20 points, okay, yes.
But he could have had like 30. And sometimes it's the thing that drives me crazy about him is he could be reckless because he's so athletic and just so good. It's like, Ja, sometimes you don't have to dunk on everybody. Like, especially in the fourth quarter when we down, just lay the ball up. He up in the air trying to destroy the dudes in the paint. I'm just like, great. You missed the dunk. They didn't call a foul. Now they going on a fast break because you wanted to be extra fancy. But regardless, he cleaned it up. It came down to the last couple of minutes, last couple of seconds. It was a crazy comeback. The Memphis was down by 1 point. They foul. Malik Monk, our fellow Los Angeles Laker, Trey, is on the foul line, down, up by 1. And Ja Morant's just screaming, "Don't miss! Don't miss! Don't miss!" Malik Monk nails him back to back. Memphis down 3. Memphis gets the ball, goes down the court, timeout. Ja Morant gets it, shoots a 3, and gets fouled from the 3, down 3 with 2 seconds left in the game. How many foul shots you think he made, Trey?
He didn't make one.
He missed the first foul shot at home. Talk about lemon booty Ja. Made the second one, has to miss the third one and get the rebound and hit a quick shot to tie the game. Shoots it, steps over the line. The refs blow the whistle immediately. Sacramento gets the ball, wins their 8th game in a row. Ja Morant, you were not clutch last night. I'm sorry. And I say all of that to say I bet on him too. So
so you lost.
I was like, ain't no way Sacramento coming into Ja's house and beating them boys. They did.
Make it work, and Sacramento continues to push the lines up and coming. So there's no telling what is going to be the outcome. Of course, like I said,
the whole game, the announcers just yelling the fourth quarter. What's their guard's name?
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox is leading the NBA this year in clutch point percentages in the fourth quarter. He's playing. I like the Kings. Watch out, California.
I can't say the same thing.
In California right now, I think so. Which is big.
That's unlikely. So unlikely with the consider who's on the other teams. Yes, they're the best team in California right now. The Sacramento Kings being built. They went through a process without having to sit up and tank or anything like that. They're good. The GM making moves, of course, bringing Sabonis there. So it's more to see. We'll have to keep a look on the Kings going forth. Like I said, 4 games, another game last night. The 76ers hosted the Brooklyn Nets, having Ben Simmons pull up his first game in 70s with the 70s back in Philadelphia since he left. Ben said you muted. Ben said that he expected to hear more boos than he did. But it didn't make a difference because in-state was that which he said he was glad. In-state, he said he was glad to have cleared another hurdle when it was all said and done because he had a pretty good game. Ben Simmons, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. Not shabby as he continues to get better. Kyrie Irving, 23 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Royce Neal, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Kevin Durant, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Nick Claxton, 12 points, 4 rebounds. Seth Curry, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Edmund Summer, 7 points, 3 points apiece for Harris and Mills, 2 points for Duke. Not bad, but it wasn't good enough as the 76ers, now 9-8 on the season, dropped them Brooklyn Nets to 8-10 with the 115 to 106 win. Tobias Harris, 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, led the team, followed by DeAnthony Melton's 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. PJ Tucker contributed with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Montrezl Harrell, 6.7 rebounds, 3 points from Matisse Thybulle, 16 points from Dorius Nang. Course Miles with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Paul Reed, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. All without their top 3 players on the team.
Because we deep, baby.
As Ron gets to the answer to the question before you say, how does that happen? How are you missing Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and James Harden, and you still walk away with a 115-106 victory over over Kyrie Hill, Kevin Durant, and Ben Simmons? This is why Tobias is still there.
Shake Melton and D Melton out there cooking. George Niang was 16 off the bench, 4 for 5 from 3. This was a lot of curse of the Ben Simmons as well. That was a lot tied into the meeps and geeps that the Nets suffered, because there's no way the Nets should be losing this game. They were favored by 10. and I bet this game too. I was like, Philly's a home dog plus 10 without Joel Embiid and James Harden. Watch them get up for this game, because Ben Simmons is coming back home. And in the first quarter, Ben Simmons goes to the foul line. You know the place erupted. He knocks down both foul shots straight. But in the fourth quarter, when the game is getting tight, Ben Simmons is on the foul line. The announcer goes, and Ben Simmons, the arena's quiet. Ben Simmons is coming to the foul line. If he misses these 2 foul shots, free nuggets for everybody. He shoots the foul shot. Ding! The place goes crazy. And the Nets continue to mishap the whole rest of the fourth quarter. And the Sixers won this one at home. The curse of the Ben Simmons. Oh, it was perfect. This is one of the games I wish I was in Philly. This was hilarious to watch. And like you said, he had a decent game too, which makes it worse.
Yeah, it's because he's like, you know what I'm saying? It's everyone keeps on saying even Ben said himself, it's another mental hurdle, the emotional hurdle in which he's cleared, in which maybe doing more, going further in the season, he's starting to get his fitting. And the next time they face off against the 76ers, he might be ready to play and contribute immensely, a whole lot than what he did, where he's formidable against maybe with Joel there. And that's a question now. Did he get that all right game that he had because Maxey, Harden, and Embiid wasn't there? Is that why? So was it really an emotional hurdle cleared, or was it just one that was moved for the time being? I guess we'll have to we'll check that and we'll see.
Right. The Nets is going to be good though. Ben Simmons is back. He's back. He's balling. He's had like 8 consecutive great games from where he's coming from. Kyrie get back into the fold. KD still KD. They need to get somebody on this. They need to get that veteran, that 6-man, that bench player, that depth. But they're going to be scary in the East. The East, woof. March, April, May, we're going to have some great shows because, oh my gosh, we got Brooklyn. We got Milwaukee. We got Boston. We got Philly. We got Cleveland. Is Atlanta going to be able to do something? is deep out east again. And I'm forgetting some teams. I forgot Miami. Toronto is very spicy. A lot of moves is about to get made. And I think Washington is leading the East. Well, they're like top 3. Let's look at these standings. The Washington Wizards and the Indiana Pacers is in the top 5 in the East, Trey. Think about that. All the teams I just named.
It's not the usual suspects, that's for sure.
And the Knicks is looking all right. Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat are out of the top 10. 2 playoff teams. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's the same thing for the West. Golden State and the Lakers is outside the top 10.
We need that to turn around. Especially speaking of the Lakers. Speaking of the Lakers, last night they were the last of the 4 games in which they fall.
They won.
Yeah, they were on. Anthony Davis did his best to keep the 3. What would have been keep alive the 3-game winning streak in which they had compiled. The Lakers fall to the Phoenix Suns 115-105. The Suns improved to 11-6 on the year. The Lakers fall to 5-1. The Suns, led by Devin Booker's 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist for Dwayne Washington Jr. Mikal Bridges, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. DeAndre Ayton, 14 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists. Torrey Craig with 8 points and 5 rebounds. Damian Lee, 9.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Cameron Payne, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. Bizback Biyombo, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And Nkoji with 2 rebounds, 1 assist. The Lakers, led by Anthony Davis's 37 points, 27 rebounds. 37 points, 20 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 blocks. 5 blocks and 5 steals, becoming the first player in NBA history to have a 35, 25, and 5 a night. But it wasn't enough, even with Lonnie Walker the fourth's 24 points, 2 assists, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists from Russell Westbrook, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists from Austin Reeves, in which he was the catalyst of altercation, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist from Dennis Schroeder, 2 from Kendrick Nunn, and Patrick Beverley, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. But he did get the assist a different way, as he was ejected from the game after an altercation in which he kind of like tried to say that it was more, as Patrick Beverley claims, he is a in the trenches type dude. Basically, we had a situation to where Austin Reeves was fouled by Devin Booker, in which after being fouled, Devin Booker stood over him and kind of like flexed. After Devin Booker kind of walked off, DeAndre Ayton walked over and stood over Austin Reeves as well. And while he was laying on the ground, because Austin Reeves thought he had busted his nose, something like that. So he was checking his, like, kind of get himself together. Upon DeAndre Ayton walking over, Patrick Beverley ran over from behind and body checked him in the back, knocking Ayton to the ground. A little minor scuffle ensued between players. Of course, like you said, Devin Booker was assessed a flagrant 1. DeAndre Ayton was hit with a technical. And then Patrick Beverley was hit with a technical and ejected. They do expect to be more, to have more punishment to come for Patrick Beverley, probably a suspension, because of this. And there's kind of like, honestly, there's what you probably would have thought is basically came out to saying that they feel like Patrick Beverley is dirty, and that he's like, and the conversation kind of has been on ESPN. I caught a little glimpse of it where they talked about they're tired of, saying Patrick Beverley always seems to do this to people in their backs. He's like, he never checks a person up front. He's like, he checked DeAndre Ayton in the back to last night. The altercation in 2000, I think it was 18 or something like that. He pushed Chris Paul in the back He's like, everyone says he's never in the front from the front. And so when and Devin Booker even came out and said like Beverly always, he's like, all I'm saying is the same check a person from the front, and we see how that goes. And so Beverly's response to that is he's not going to get into all that. He's like, in state is he did that because the referees weren't doing what they were supposed to do to protect his teammate, and he's there for his teammate. Ron, are you on? Do you side with Booker and Jay Will and them saying that Beverly is dirty and he tends to do things when people's backs are turned?
I think they're stating the obvious, of course.
Okay, that part, yes, they are.
What's not being stated is how petty and dirty Booker is as well. Definitely been playing with CP3 way too much, too long. Some bad habits have clearly rubbed off on him. But it's gonna be juicy to the rivalry because I'm just like, if CP3 was playing this game, oh, him and Beverly, it's gonna be like two little tornadoes going at each other. So hopefully we get this game in the playoffs. Suns may be like the second seed. Maybe the Lakers could squeeze still 7 for something. I don't know. But my overall take from this game, Trey, is the Lakers let this win slip from the grasp of their fingers because they was dominating. Definitely shout out to Anthony Davis. He is balling. Like the AD we've been waiting for, Trey, like this whole year has arrived. This is like his 5th consecutive 30-20 game. He has more 30-20 games this year than Embiid, LeBron, and Giannis, like all put together. Something crazy like that. And he went down for bad injury during the game, hurt his wrist. The not the Staples, what is it, the Crypto Arena now?
Crypto.com arena
went silent. Y'all can go look up LeBron's reaction. It went viral. He just was like, yeah, but he was all right, came back and then dominated. But the Lakers, I think what's missing, shout out Austin Reeves. He's been a great essential off the bench, coming in and being electric. I think what we missing out in La is somebody on a defender, like a Robert Covington type player. The Lakers, to be competitive, we're not talking about winning a championship, but to be able to, to make a run, to be competitive in the West, I think just shoring up a 3 and D, somebody to come lock up, because Mikal Bridges went crazy. He made like 3 threes in the last couple of minutes of the game to swing it in the favor of Phoenix. And the Lakers just couldn't keep up with the scoring.
And like you said, it's definitely that they need a more of a 3, like you said, a 3 and D type player. Probably not necessarily with the 3 so far, or just someone with the ability to knock down, or even just knock down a deeper perimeter shot for the most part. As it comes down, they just more to build on. Lonnie Walker has been a breath of fresh air. If they can just get it to where they can get more contribution from everyone. Like you said, Russ and Austin Reeves off the bench are problems in a degree. Russ 21 points off the bench. So now if you can get like AD is starting to move and build upon that. It was like you said, like we wanted. Like he's making me eat my words. It's saying like, I mean, in a sense, because the way he's playing, that makes it even more like, yeah, if he was a trade, we can get a good return for him. But it's like with him playing like that, this is why you brung him to LA. Do you want to trade? Do you want to try the same thing with Russ? Russ is off the bench now. You may not want to pay Russ $40 million to come off the bench, but if you can get it to work, now if LeBron comes back and you see like what I'm starting to see, and Ron, tell me if I'm wrong. I know you have a love and affinity from King James, but are we not seeing? Well, okay, before I say that, I can't say that. I was about to say, are we not seeing a situation to where maybe LeBron and his era is a wrap, but LA isn't winning? It's not like they're 10-5. They're 5-11. So
I would challenge you to give me 3 clear reasons that show me why LeBron is not the best player in the league in clutch time still. I'm not talking about overall because he doesn't have the stamina of like a Luka or a Giannis. But if we're talking about when it comes down to winning this game, this playoff series, this championship game, games 4, 5, 6, and 7, I struggle to see who's gonna be better than them in those moments, those lemon booty moments when it's time for that real warrior to step up. Kevin Durant, Steph, and Giannis. Those could be the 3 reasons. But I don't see anybody else being better than LeBron when it comes to being in the championship moment. Now the question is, can LA get him there? And I'm going to go off on a rant, but this whole year I've been like, why would LeBron lock in and sign this extension with the Lakers? Why would he lock in? Why would he lock in? It doesn't make any sense because now he can't be traded. The Lakers are pretty much stuck. What are we doing here? Because this is going to be a mess. But guess what it does show, Trey? The Lakers can trade literally everything except for LeBron James. And as he sits out and enjoys these games and watches his product, just moving like a boss, a GM, y'all go ahead out there. Everybody is playing their value up.
Correct.
And the Lakers made it known last week. Hey, just to let y'all know, FYI, everybody's available. Anthony Davis, Reeves, Russ, we open to whatever, baby. And guess what? These boys is coming out here balling. When that was not a bad loss to the Suns last night. That was they was on a 3-4 game win streak, and they have a really easy schedule to wrap up the year. So the Lakers are gonna get back to 500. They got the Spurs 3 times over the next 2 weeks. Oh yeah, LeBron's gonna sit back and watch them eat. San Antonio, Indiana, Portland, Milwaukee, Washington, Cleveland. So yeah, San Antonio, India. They should go get back on a 3-game win streak before their schedule gets harder again back starting up December. Which should take them to about 8-11. Reeves looking like Jordan Poole light. Exactly. They're balling.
Yeah, it's funny that you said when you included Reeves in that, because you gotta think, even though Reeves isn't that consistent, but Reeves can go. We can't forget Reeves put himself in elite company when he dropped a 30-point triple-double as a rookie last year in their last game of the season with even though LeBron was out, I think AD was out, but Reeves, you know what I'm saying, he pulled up, you know what I'm saying, show, and with the game winner, like that game, like his game last year, game of the season, put him in elite company. Only a couple of players have done it in the NBA in the career, but it also made it to where it's like, hey, I can play, you know what I'm saying, I need to sit up and be looked at. So he might not be that player that, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna talk about 3 or 4 years from now. I'd be like, Reeves is an all-star. We're not saying that. I'm not saying that, but he's definitely one of those players that you gotta take a look at, and it might be one of those people where you want to have him on your you have him on your roster and be like, yo, like the same way with Alex Caruso. I'm hoping the LA doesn't make the same mistake that they made with Alex Caruso, and, you know what I'm saying, let him have a serviceable player that, you know what I'm saying, is a fan favorite that can get the job done. We're not gonna act like Alex Caruso don't. If we catch a body, if you sleeping in the lane, he doesn't care. Like you was just talking about Ja Morant, that's Alex Caruso. You don't think it until he's in the air and you wondering like, yo, why did I do this? Why did I make this decision? So I mean, I hope LA doesn't make the same decision that they made, trying to keep Kuzma, trying to keep THT, and let go Alex, let go all those people, and we just kept the wrong people. So it'll be seen. But like Ron was just saying, definitely, I get what you're saying, and I can agree with it. Like now the value is up because now these players is playing. It's like, yo, we gotta make ourselves. We gotta, you know what I'm saying, anyone can get it. Like they're not pulling. Jenny's gonna pull the trigger. Hell, Rob Pelinka can get it. Like anyone, the only person that's guaranteed to be be there is Jenny Buss and LeBron James at this point.
The answer to the question that's been driving me crazy all year: why would LeBron sign an extension? Like it had ruined my year at one point, but now it makes sense. Sometimes you got to let decisions weigh out.
Yeah, so that's the only people that's fortified in that on that team. Just like when her dad was there, the only people that was going to stay there were Magic Johnson and Dr. Buss.
So, Jeannie need to get Pelinka about the paint too. She just needs to become the ambassador. She needs to take it back to the 80s on them. I am Miss Lake. Oh, that would be such a sexy boss move.
It's just her, let her take over. She just run the whole organization.
That's what they did. It was the owner, her father back in the 80s in Magic.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And now it could be her and LeBron. I'm riding out with LeBron, and they could develop, win one more ring as LeBron gets out and they walk the Lakers into the next dynasty. They have the keys, the keys and the keys and the pieces to put it together despite the chaos. It is crucial that these boys win these next 3 games, Trey, because a road trip of all road trips is coming, and the Lakers season could literally be over by December comes if they don't have their buttons tightened up. So we got San Antonio Friday and Saturday in San Antonio. Anthony Davis, you better show up. There is no way unacceptable for San Antonio to win any of these games. Don't let them win both, or I'm going to be done talking about Lakers. But they done got me talking about them again. Like, Trey, I'm passionate again right now because they can get back into this season. Do not mess it up. Then they go back home to play Indiana, and then they got Portland. 3-1 is the only thing I will accept, Anthony Davis. I will let y'all lose one of these games. If y'all lose to San Antonio, y'all got to beat Portland. Because after that, we're going on a road trip December 2nd till Milwaukee, then Washington, then Cleveland, then Toronto, then Philly. That's 6 games, all in the span of 6 games in 10 days, Trey. 6 games in 10 days. That's like a first formation military basketball schedule. AAU schedule. That's a lot of games.
Top brain. So, like you said, it sets the table for them to be able to get there because, they're finna run into a gauntlet as coming late in the year. Hopefully LeBron just be back. He's been out 5 games, which, of course, we know in state we know what it is. Father Time is undefeated. And if you continue to try to play like you in your 20s, when you're in your late 30s, he's going to show you like, nah, you need to chill. You got to chill.
Russell Westbrook hit 2 threes in the clutch last night too in the fourth quarter. Corner threes. LeBron was hyped. I was hyped. Everybody was hyped because we all like Russ. But I actually didn't say when he shot at Trey, Russ don't shoot. It was a good shot. The Lakers were swinging. The offense looks great. Russell Westbrook has talked himself back into a superstar trade. Like, we could really have the conversation of Russ for like a Zach LaVine trade.
I wonder how would I like that. Zach LaVine in LA.
It would be problem for problem.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, run through tonight's games real quick before we get into the NFL, which we lost out on earlier week. The Trailblazers would be visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. 76ers will be hosted by the Charlotte Hornets. The Indiana Pacers will take on the Timberwolves at home. The Atlanta Hawks will host the hot streaking Atlanta Hawks will host the hot streaking Sacramento Kings. Miami Heat will take on the Washington Wizards. The Boston Celtics do battle with Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. The Toronto Raptors will face off yet again against the Brooklyn Nets in Toronto. Milwaukee will be play host to the Chicago Bulls. The San Antonio Spurs will be hosting the New Orleans Pelicans. The OKC Thunder host the Denver Nuggets. Utah Jazz will be hosting the Detroit Pistons. And lastly, the Warriors will be hosting a Kawhi and Paul George and Luke Kennard-less Los Angeles Clippers. As we talked about before, the East leading Boston Celtics. The Suns lead the West. Bucks. Oh, it's only half a game behind the Celtics. So it's not looking like you said. Definitely some different outcomes than expected when the season started. Um, Golden State and LA sitting at the bottom. It was thought that it could have been at least one of those two, but to have both of them currently out of the playoffs right now wasn't thought about. What was the drug saying? Mark down the Milwaukee L right now. Oh, LA takes a L. I mean, no
Tonight
pressure.
against the Bulls.
I don't know. I think he's talking about because you had to talk about the Lakers game that you was talking about.
Mark down that Milwaukee. Oh, the Lakers is going to beat the Bucks December 2nd in Milwaukee.
Pressure Russ is goaded.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they ready to get that boy up. Celtics, Mavs. That's tonight. Yep. I need Luka to go here and do God's work and hand Boston this L. Oh, I hate Boston and how good they are this year. I don't think it's going to be interesting. It really depends on Dinwiddie and if Luka got their shot going. Because Tatum and Brown on them wings, that's the new generation.
Yeah. I still think it's Brown. Brown is the better player, but I digress. Heading into a little NFL conversation. Let me get a little formalities out the way so we can really get down to it. Of course, what was found out, a vandal broke into the First Energy Stadium, commandeered a golf cart, and rutted up and drove over half of the Cleveland Browns stadium field last night. Of course, it was first noticed by a News 5 Cleveland helicopter as it passed over the top of the stadium and seen all the tire marks. Basically, they're saying that the field crew should have the field ready to go as Cleveland is going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend. But I never would have thought I would hear a situation to where someone jumped the fist of a stadium just to go and tear up their field on a golf cart. Like, I would have thought the golf cart would have been locked up. I would have thought the stadium would be a little bit secured, but I guess it's a little different. In any case, the Cleveland Police Department is continuing their investigation and are looking into the situation. Also, in news when it comes to authorities, Arizona fires their assistant after being accused of groping a woman while they were in Mexico for the game versus the San Francisco 49ers on Monday. Offensive lineman coach and running game coordinator Sean Kugler was sent home early after Mexican authorities alerted the team to the incident that's happened on Sunday. Additionally, Arizona earlier in the year lost another assistant when running back coach James Saxon was accused of assaulting a woman in her Indianapolis home in May, in which the incident came to light in August, which forced the Arizona Cardinals to put him on administrative leave, to where in October, Mr. Saxon decided to resign from his post. So Arizona's got a lot going on. At this point, maybe it doesn't make a difference. Soon, I would think Cliff Kingsbury is probably going to join them. Do you think Cliff gets fired this year, Ron?
Should have been fired during the last game.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great showing.
Yeah, I would just we are week 12, week 13 into the
Week
season.
12,
I
yeah.
finally transitioned from being a Los Angeles Rams, partly Eagles fan to full Eagles fan who are the Rams. So I've made the transition. I think we're all making a transition to realizations of what our NFL seasons is going to be. And the Arizona Cardinals should do the same. Like, there's no point in finishing anywhere forward. Like, what's the point of him being there right now? He's literally just going to work, putting his feet up, smoking a cigar. Like, hey,
Knowing that is over.
we got our players. Let's go out there and fight. That's all he could say.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. But I don't want to be here. They don't want me to be here. I don't know what we're doing here. It's just kind of like a stuck situation, which the only reason for him to finish it out is just financials. It's whatever. But I would suggest, hey, just kick him out and select an intern. Because guess what? That could be promising. We're going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Guess what? They moved on. They brought in an intern coach who fired up the team and has started the progression to moving forward and starting a new future. Whether that's someone else, let's look at this position, who we want on our coaching staffs, who do we want in this building, who are we going to bring in at quarterback? We got Matt Ryan. Do we need to transition? The Cardinals need to start answering those questions. And if they're holding on to Kingsbury and still trying to patch together this season, they're not, identifying the elephant in the room, Trey, which is
so that's Coach the Cardinals.
Right. That would be better. Bring Fitz in. Like fans would show up. The team would get behind. Coming up with better ideas on first formations than they doing in the executive room of the Arizona Cardinals.
It's like, again, the blueprint been created. Patron brought Jeff Saturday in 2 games. They're 1-1. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we can do the same for with Larry.
Almost broke the hearts of Philadelphia the other day.
Oh yeah, almost 2-0. Like evidently is something going on. They figured something out. So of course, hopefully that they make that work, or it comes in, something comes to fruition. Additionally, in more conversation, the semifinal list for the NFL Hall of Fame has been announced. Like, I would like to highlight a couple of people before we sit up and give the rest of them. To, of course, highlight cornerback Darrell Reeves, offensive lineman Joe Thomas and Jahari Evans, defensive lineman Dwight Freeney, and linebacker James Harrison are first-year balloters, and they're 5 of the 28 that semifinalists. Wide receiver Henry Ellert and linebacker London Fletcher make the semifinal list for the first time since they have been on the ballot. Of course, Ellert as well as Albert Lewis, both whom retired in 1998, are on their last year of eligibility to be considered a modern era player category. So after this year, if they're not, they go into a senior category and start the voting, which makes it a little easier for them to potentially get in. If not, so of course, other players that are on the list, as I pull that back up, you have Torrey Holt, who returns to the list for his 9th time. Hines Ward and Darren Woodson are semifinalists for the 7th time in their since they retired. Rondé Barber also makes the list for the 6th time in his career. Zach Thomas is a 5th timer, as well as James Willis and Reggie Wayne back for the 4th time. Additionally, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Anquan Bolden, Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Robert Mathis, Steve Smith Sr., Fred Taylor, DeMarcus Ware, Ricky Waters, and Vince Wilfork complete the list. Ron, before I ask you this question, additionally, uh, he on the bandwagon go Saints.
Wow.
so additionally,
Eli, them
also
Saints looking like the Aints too.
additionally, the 28-man list has to be cut down to 15 by before they do the final voting on in January, and then of course on February the 9th on the NFL Honor Show, they're going to announce the finalists. So Ron, out of those 28 individuals, those names, or even any other, out of 28 names, who do you think, is there anyone that just stands out to you that you like? Oh, it's a no brainer. They're going to get in.
I think I heard Torrey Holt, right?
He's it's his ninth season, his ninth time.
There go my guy.
Torrey
Easy.
Holt.
Yeah. What was this list again?
So we have Torrey Holt. Where I go? Darrell Revis, Jahari Evans, Joe Thomas, Dwight Freeney, James
Oh,
Harrison, Henry Ellert,
the
London
whole dang
Fletcher.
list.
You think those? So those are just first year balloters. Then of course, like you were saying, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Anquan Bolden, Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Hines Ward, Andre Johnson, Robert Mathis, Steve Smith, Fred Taylor, DeMarcus Ware, Ricky Waters, Vince Wilfork. Like I said, Torrey Holt. I just said Darren Woodson, Rondé Barber, and Zach Thomas, and James Willis. Oh, Reggie Wayne as well.
These is the candidates for this year's Hall of Fame.
These are the semifinalists. So they have this list. 13 people have to get cut off this list by in January.
Woo!
13
Now,
people have to
Trey,
get
I
cut off the
never
list.
hesitate to tell you when I would rather be doing these folks' jobs because it seems like they can't do them well, these executive positions and making decisions. I don't want nothing to do with this. No, I would blow a head gasket. I'm like, Anquan Bolden was dope. And we ain't even got to Steve Smith and Torrey Holt. I don't know how they do it. Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, some of my favorite defenders. I mean, you started with Darrell Revis. I think he's number one, right?
First year ballot.
I don't think you said anybody that was better than him. I mean, Torrey Holt is arguably there, but he has so much around him. Darrell Revis was a one-man island on the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Jared Allen. Do Jared Allen get in? Wasn't he a sack? Doesn't he have a high sack count?
Oh yeah, but Dwight Freeney was better than him.
Better, okay.
And maybe Mathis, but yeah, he was. I think he was on the Vikings. He had a brother.
Yeah, he was.
They both were dope. Yeah,
Devin Hester, Steve Smith, Fred Taylor, DeMarcus Ware. Like, how did DeMarcus didn't get in last year? Vince Wilfork.
Oh, we talking about defenders and didn't even bring up DeMarcus Ware, Vince Wilfork, the 3-time Super Bowl champion. Just,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. 13 people have to get left off this list. I think Ricky Waters comes off this list. I think he's going to be dropped. Unfortunately,
it's going to be easy to get a couple, but
I think Andre Johnson gets dropped. After that, it starts getting a little shaky.
This is going to be a tight year.
Darren Woodson might get dropped. I definitely think there's too many receivers on the list for them to let them all in. Torrey Holt, Hines Ward, Steve Smith, Reggie Wayne. Interesting, definitely interesting. So, of course, coming in a couple of months, we should be hearing more. Like I said, when it gets cut down, we find out what the 13 that get voted off the list, and then start looking at, okay, who we think is going to definitely get in at that point. I'm very sure there's going to be some surprising names left off. And, of course, that'll be more content to talk about. So let's get into some of these Hines Ward 2 Super Bowl rings. That's not enough, Donovan. That's not enough. Is 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl MVP, is that enough? If it was enough, he would already be in, don't you think, Ron?
Hines Ward is not in the Hall of Fame already.
No, he's currently on this ballot. He's not. He hasn't been
Oh,
voted
his
in.
name was one of the candidates.
Yeah, he was one of the candidates. He's on the ballot for what I think the fifth year. Let me see. Let me go back and where it said that.
The answer is no. I'm sorry, Don Don. We got Steve Smith is a more Hall of Fame candidate than Hines Ward, as is Devin Hester, and we ain't even got to talk about Torrey Holt. I mean, Hines Ward, the Steelers weren't. He won a Super Bowl MVP though. I forget that. Did he get one of them?
Yeah, seven. This is 7th year on the ballot. 7 years of semifinalist.
This is his 7th year.
7 years as a semifinalist. I don't think Hines Ward. It's unfortunate. I don't think he gets in.
The Steelers wasn't offense driven. They were defense.
Those the bus. Those are the bus years.
Yeah, he in
that part. Yeah, it's like, yeah. This man has been in. So it's unfortunate for Hines. I think it's not gonna say that he doesn't get in. I don't think he gets in this year, and it gets harder every year.
But that means Torrey Holt had to been on the list for a while. Then, if
He's
Hines
9 years. He's 9 years. Ninth year as a semifinalist. Rondé Barber, he's not gonna get in.
Torrey Holt and Hines Ward been on the list for a decade, man. Wow. That makes me want to talk about the wide receivers of this generation because it's only going to get tighter.
Oh yeah, that's exactly like.
So how many wide receivers are we letting through? We got Hines Ward, we got Steve Smith, Torrey Holt,
Reggie Wayne.
If you had to pick one, which one are you picking?
Out of those?
That's what it's going to come down to.
Who's the most deserving out of them, in my opinion?
I mean, I'm a Rams fan, so I'm biased. I'm going to go with the one that says that has
Torrey Holt, because
show on turf.
To me, out of that group, I think it's Ward. My vote is Ward or Smith. In that group, that's who's done more. But you got Reggie Wayne, he's on that group. Andre Johnson, he's in that group. You got Ellert, who is about Henry Ellert, that's another Rams quarterback from a wide receiver from back in the day. He's about to lose his spot in the modern era and go into a senior group. So Devin Hester. Was Devin Hester groundbreaking? I don't know. Does Devin Hester deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because he was an electrifying kick returner?
I know he was the first one that had that 100-speed man rating.
Because now when I look at it, if you let Devin Hester in, you are potentially opened up the door from Cordell Patterson to get in the same way.
That's funny you say that because that's the first thing I started thinking about. Shout out Cordell, who got his, I think,
9th
turn this past weekend.
So it's like, so that's what we're saying, that, accolades, individual accolades and breaking records, NFL history records gives you a shoe up on other things. Like,
I mean, the NFL is progressing and has always been progressing to taking kick returns out of the game. So the fact it does not happen like that. And if you are a guy that's done it
multiple times,
over 10 in years in your prime, groundbreaking. He can't. I'm sorry.
Because even that, you gotta think who Cordell Patterson had to overtake somebody, and he ain't overtake Devin Hester. He overtook Joshua Cribbs. Like, this
wide receiver list is tight. I don't know how many they're gonna let through. I can't wait to see who gets left off because I know I was hurt last year when they left Steve Smith off.
And he's back in there again, but he's again. So I guess that's saying something. If you continue to get semi-finalist votes, but of course, like we said, it's gonna get harder and harder because next year, in a couple of years. Well, no, I don't know about next year, but you gotta think it's coming to where it's gonna be real hard because now when you got people like Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger that have hung up their cleats. You're basically that's like two. That could be 2 to 3 slots that is already solidified. So we'll get to see it. Now, just talking about quarterbacks, let's move on to them Carolina Panthers as Sam Darnold has been named the starter for the Denver game this coming weekend. As expected, Darnold and Mayfield are in the last year of their rookie contracts to where they're in the last year of their rookie contracts to where they're basically getting the opportunities to play so they can see what they're working at. If the season ended right now, Carolina would be the second pick in the NFL draft for the 2023 season, in which they're expected to pick up a wide receiver, a quarterback in the draft that is considered to be heavy in candidates and potentials when it comes to the signal calling position. Another thing to take in consideration is Carolina is due to convey a 2024 fourth round pick to Cleveland for them taking Baker Mayfield. However, if Baker Mayfield does not play 70% of the snaps in this year, then that pick will become a fifth round pick. Currently, Baker Mayfield is sitting at 58% of snaps when it comes down to that. So Sam Darnold gets a chance to try out to see what he can do. PJ Walker seems to be the quarterback for Coach Wilkes at this point, in which the only reason PJ Walker isn't playing is because he is out with a high ankle sprain. He's 2-3 on the year. And I think that's who Coach Wilkes. But at this point, Sam Darnold is going to get a play opportunity to try out. I'm sure if he continues to win, they'll continue to let him play. But yeah, that's basically where they're at. And one of them I can presume one of them, if they do get an additional draft a quarterback, one of them are going to continue to be on the roster. Who that is going to be, I don't know. The Los Angeles Rams, Ron. The Rams waived.
Do we gotta do this?
Los Angeles.
Yep, our running back. Hasta luego. I guess it's Cam Akers now. Don't ask me how to make sense of this because I won't be able to help you.
I don't know either. They basically waive a hold on. They basically waive running back Darrell Henderson Jr. He complained about he felt something in his knee during the game versus the pregame war versus New Orleans last week, in which he only ended up playing 4 snaps. Cam Akers led the team in rushing, and rookie Karen Williams led the team in snaps. How we get to the point to where Henderson was released just when you got to take into consideration Cam Akers was even supposed to be on the squad. He tried to leave and bounce, but yet Henderson, who was a third round selection in the 2019 draft, got released. He has 70 carries for 230 yards on the year, 283 yards on the year, as well as 3 touchdowns and 17 receptions for 102 yards. He's also in the last year. He's in the last year of his rookie contract, in which they waived him. I don't know if he'll be able to catch on with somebody else, but how did we get here? What is the Rams organization doing?
Rome is burning. That's what we're doing. I don't think we have a draft pick either.
No.
So we don't have like our next 3 draft picks. So we can't even tank. It's just go have fun. Let the young guys play. Figure out who in the depths of our roster is actually meant to be with this franchise, who has potential, could grow, who's been molded on the defense. Some of these young, it's It's gonna be like open tryouts in LA. If you a wide receiver, come on out because we don't got nothing. We looking for running backs too. It's gonna be prayers for Matthew Stafford. Hopefully we can protect him as we round out this season, but it's just surviving and trying to get healthy. It's gonna be desolate. Like Aaron Donald shouldn't have come back for this. Sean McVay was about to retire. The Rams' future could be very, very tragic, and it has to be on notice.
I completely agree. I mean, I'm not mad either, honestly, but I do agree. So, speaking of the Rams, going back into the Rams, what is obviously is that OBJ will not be going back to LA, and the sweepstakes is clearly wide open as the Dallas quarterback, Dak Prescott, let it be known that
Yo,
he, and then
team.
even spoke about it and saying that he feels that honestly there's a mutual likeness of OBJ wanting to become a part of the Dallas Cowboys squad, and Prescott is just as interested in that pairing as well. Additionally, they set up and had conversations and spoke about how in some way, there has been other players from the organization that have reaching out to OBJ and trying to get him there. Everyone is vying for him. It's like a whole OBJ jockeying position. Everyone, of course, team owner and GM Jerry Jones has spoke about it and let it be known that he would be interested in bringing him in, saying that CD Lamb is a great number one. He just think that who wouldn't want to become a part of the organization. But they have competition, Ron. You got Buffalo, Kansas City, and the San Francisco 49ers are all interested in Odell Beckham Jr. and made it be known. OBJ has conveyed that he wants to be somewhere that he can basically call home and kind of get situated in and be there for some
I know what
amount
that
of time.
means.
What does it mean to you?
He's going to the highest bidder. It's not even really all these teams. Odell's funny. He's just like whoever's going to pay him the most and give him the most years. We'll see Odell, and I don't know who of these teams can pay him.
Who you out of those four teams, who you think is the best fit, or who would you like to see him with? San Francisco, Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas.
Don't tell nobody this. I wish Applewhite was here today, but Dallas don't got no money. Have y'all ever heard of Ezekiel Elliott? He ate it all up, figuratively and literally. Maybe if they was able to trade him, which is crazy, Pollard's blowing up right now because you could have moved on from Zeke. But I don't know where Dallas is going to find any money to get this. Buffalo Bills was trying to get Christian McCaffrey all year, Trey. It didn't happen. So how they're going to beat out all these teams to get him, I don't see it. Guess who's getting rid of wide receivers and players? The Giants got rid of
Correct.
Kadarius
Yeah, they
Toney,
did.
sent
Yeah.
him to the Chiefs. I think they got rid of somebody else. They really just got Galladay and Barkley wide open, no major investments. Giants is the team that's going to give him 4 years, the minimum amount of years. I don't know. I hope he don't want 15 million a year. I hope he would accept less than 10, but I know he wants a contract pretty much. And nobody can give him one except the Giants.
But they don't. The Giants is one of the teams in which, well, they did talk about how he came and he spoke and he was engaging with the Giants. And then it ended up going back to where he stopped by there. I think they talked about, and that's when Odell Beckham first said that that's what he's interested in, being or where he could call home. But he's been there and done that, and I don't know if that's the pairing in which he would want to potentially go back to. There's a different team. There are a different team. Technically, the same quarterback is there, or the quarterback that he worked with before. But with Saquon there in the fold now. Uh, uh, so it's interesting to even see or figure out or fathom if that would be it. I, of course, I'm on the 40. Let's go San Fran and pull them in. Saying if we got to release some people, don't you want to win? If he wants to win, then ideally it makes sense for him to. I mean, all these are basically contenders at the end state. They're all contenders. So it's like, but which one is going to give him the best?
Y'all have no space nor money.
They will make a way.
Release who?
They'll release
deep, so it doesn't find. Yeah, it would be amazing, but it would be literally a needle in a haystack, a modern day miracle. Tennessee got money. Tennessee 6-3. Great run game. He would be replacing AJ Brown. They're looking great. That would be a great fit. But I feel like if it's not the Giants, it's got to be Kansas City. Go play with Mahomes. Oh my God, would that be a beautiful fit in Kansas City? Right along. Oh, you would have no expectations. You would just get to go be free. Odell could fit anywhere on the field because they're just stacked everywhere. No long-term investments with any of those players. So if he could be talked into like a 3-year, $10 million a year contract, I think the Chiefs can make that happen because they don't have any major investments with none of their offensive weapons because they let Tyreek Hill go. It's just a bunch of fill-ins. And Mahomes is just, they will have Katoni with the speed. Then they will have Odell in the slot. Then they will have Juju for possession receptions. And then they got Kelsey just to flex. Throw any running back you want with those four. Oh, that's where I want him to go.
So I definitely sit up and think that it's I definitely sit up and think that I definitely think that I sit up and think that it's we can make it work. I'm trying not to sit up and be biased.
On that.
I just think we'll be able to think about.
Well, you need to look up how much available space y'all got. Hold on,
we got plenty. We have plenty. You think about Debo, Ayuk. I know it's not going to happen, but that's what I'd like to think. I definitely don't want him in Kansas City. Do not want him in Kansas City. Don't want him in Kansas City. I'd rather see him in Dallas, or I don't want him in Buffalo either. I'd rather have to see him in a NFC Championship game, as opposed to seeing him in the Super Bowl. Is what I'm basically getting at. Where it's not saying. So it's like, because in the NFC Championship game, there's a potential for him to get taken care of prior to. Or if I had to see him in the NFC, if I had to see him on the other side in the AFC, I would rather it be Buffalo. I'd rather it be Buffalo. I do not want to see him in Kansas City. Yeah, we can't do it. Can't have that. So, of course, when you look at that, if right now, before we get into our doing our quicks real quick for this Thursday, for the third tomorrow's game, if the league was to start the playoffs right now, the AFC, Kansas City will be the number one team in the AFC, followed by Miami, Tennessee, Baltimore, Buffalo, New England, and Cincinnati. Cincinnati be a seventh seeded team. Can we still count that as a hangover in a Super Bowl hangover if Cincinnati is a 7th team still getting into the playoffs?
It's not a hangover.
I don't think it is either. However, on the opposite side of the spectrum,
don't you do it.
Philadelphia is currently the number one team, followed by Minnesota, who took a throttling, a beat down, shellacking, whatever you want to sit up and say, hands on, put them paws on, all that, by the Dallas Cowboys, who are a 5th seeded team. San Francisco, 3rd, 4th, Tampa Bay, still hanging in there. New York, 6th.
Lost me so much money this past weekend, Trey. Hate to interrupt, but I'm pissed.
And Seattle, a 7th pick currently, the fact of everybody in the West, it will the NFC West, East is in the playoffs is mind-boggling. Like the only person that they're missing is at this point is the Washington Commanders, who are a 6-5 team at this point. Like, who would have thunk it? Who would
Not a
have thought it?
not a,
But of course, that can all change. It's still 6 games left in the season.
no. I don't think much changes in the NFC, sir.
You think that's going to be it? You think that's what? I think so. Minnesota is going to probably get. That's not the last game in which that's somewhat. I think it's too much going on in the NFL. Like, who would have thought the Jets, the Giants, would have been in contention at this point? That would have been the first.
The AFC is completely different.
But you think the NFC is pretty clear cut?
And why is because the teams at the bottom of the NFC are bad teams. Like, there's teams we don't have to worry about disrupting anything with this playoff picture. It's going to come down to this 7th seed between the Seahawks, the Commanders. Maybe the Packers can get in this mix. There ain't no other team. It ain't gonna be the Rams, not the Panthers, not the Bears, not the Saints, not the Cardinals. We just spent 10 minutes talking about Fire and Cliff.
Yeah.
So we got Detroit with 4 and Packers with 4. But 7th seed right now, 6. Nobody's catching up to the Seattle Seahawks or the Commanders. That spot's between them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Falcons got 5. I don't think we can believe in them.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's a situation where Tampa Bay starts to fall off, which gives the opportunity to keep the Seahawks and get the 4th and final NFC East? Has there ever been a point to where a whole division has been in the playoffs? I don't think it has.
This will be the first.
And we're looking at it potentially.
And I don't think it happens. I think the Seahawks are really good.
Yeah, because at that point, that's because you're looking at the Philly, Minnesota, San Francisco, and Tampa Bay lead their divisions, and then of course the wild cards are that. So Seattle, like you said, Seattle and Washington are currently battling for the wild card position. At some point, San Francisco is 4-0. They only have Seattle and Arizona. I think a game with Arizona left on their schedule. And as far as when it comes to the division, so we'll see. We definitely see. So that brings us to this week. So tapping in, 3 games slated for Thursday. Since we won't be on Thursday, Ron, Bills and Lions. Who are you taking in this game? I think it's a no-brainer, but I had to ask him. Wait, let me start this off by saying this. So we didn't get a chance to talk about it briefly. So we basically had last week in our standings for the week 10-4. I was 10-4. Ron was 9-5. Bishop was 8-6. Which basically appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I try to do what I can. But
I saw some of your picks. I was like, I see what Trey did there.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course, when you look at it, that puts Ron still in the head by 90 with 90 and 56 on the year.
Ooh,
Bishop 87 and 58, and I consider a dismal 82 and 64. Still some good time to make up. So of course, these are going to be key, but I think
you only 5 behind Bishop. What you talking about?
Yeah, but he still be picking. So it's going to the point to where I can't. It's only what has put me in this hole is trying to sit up and go the opposite spectrum when I knew better, and so now I have to sit up. Of course, not that per se because I have been horrible on Thursdays and Friday
I ain't doubting you one bit. I don't want to hear the side story. There's like 100 games left.
That's what I say. Yeah, so it's a possibility.
And I'm so tight. I'm like, woo.
So 3 games Thursday, which Thursday and Mondays has been my Achilles heel. So, of course, I think some of these are no-brainers to a fact, except for one of them. 2 of them, actually. But I think the no-brainer is the first one. Bills and Lions. Ron, who are you feeling for that game?
We're going to have the advantage, though, against Bishop because we're going to get to do our picks together. And
Mm-hmm.
he's going to have to submit his. He ain't going to know what we picked unless he tune in. Bills and the Lions, definitely upset worthy pick right here on Thanksgiving with everything that has been happening in Buffalo. Josh Allen just throwing interceptions like it's his job, like this is 2019. All the snow, the traveling, the sleep schedules being disrupted, and on a short week, Trey.
That part.
Buffalo's favored by 10. When it comes to betting, I'm definitely picking the Lions, a 10-point home dog. They're not losing by 10. I wish I had the courage. If this wasn't as tight, I would pick the Lions, but I know we're all gonna pick Buffalo.
Yes.
But I've definitely got the upset antenna zone. This is gonna be a fun game to start. The start. Oh, happy holidays!
Yeah,
we got all
start
3
the holidays
games.
off. Yeah.
We gotta take our time.
So, of course, the next game, of course, I'm very sure Bishop is, but I get the confirmation from him when I send him a message. So, of course, with the next game, which is I think is probably going to be the better game of the day, the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. Who are you going with this on the Ron? Do you go with the whole team or do you go with the surging Giants? We said if you can't stop Saquon, then he gets the win. Can the Dallas defense take out Saquon, eliminate Saquon, neutralize Saquon to walk away with the W?
So these next 2 games involve some of my most sacred Cardinal rules. Cardinal rule number 1 is we don't bet on the Cowboys in prime time, as with the Vikings. So they're favored by 10 points at home. I can't believe in the fluff, but I don't like rolling with the Giants either, but I'm gonna take them, Trey.
Ooh, you going with the Giants. So in this one, I just think I'm not doubting the Giants, but it's Thanksgiving. It's in Dallas. Traditionally, Dak is there. CD is going to be there. We got Tony Pollard and potentially Zeke as well. You got Micah Parsons, Van Der Esch, Diggs. I think I'm going with Dallas on this one. I think the Cowboys will be able to pull it out. Although I think they may be on a bit of a high after smacking up the Minnesota Vikings. But I'm going to definitely go with this one. Dallas on this one, keep it rolling along. And then, of course, the last one on Thursday, the Patriots against the aforementioned Vikings. Ron, does Minnesota come back to get back into position, or do they drop a second one consistently? And now we have an emergence of New England.
Let me do my Bill Belichick impersonation really quick. Oh, on to Minnesota. Oh, you like throwing to Jefferson and throwing screens to your running back. That's it. That's cool. Well, what else can you do? Oh, nothing? That's unfortunate. Give me the Patriots. We do
with the New
that
England.
with the Vikings in prime time, as do the Cowboys. And the Vikings love throwing it to Jefferson. Hey, Jefferson, run deep. And our second backup is to what's the running back's name? Dalvin Cook. Dang.
Dalvin
And
Cook.
give the ball to Dalvin. Jefferson run deep, give the ball to Dalvin. That's their offense. That's why they made that trade for that tight end. Because they're the one team that we could talk about that's may shake up this rankings because Sorry, Eric. There might be a couple losses hitting y'all way. And this one happens yet again. Kirk Cousins in prime time. Goose it up. But it's Bill Belichick.
Like you said, Kirk Cousins is prime time. That is worthy enough alone to get me to side with you. But I just think that Dalvin Cook, Hawkinson, Thielen, and Jefferson is going to be a little too much for Bill Belichick's defense. Although I'm very sure he's found neutralizers and he's going to find some diamond in the roughs to get it done. But I think it might be a little too much additionally also for Mac Jones in this case. And so I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings on that one as well.
Well, we know the Vikings don't play no defense. Cowboys show that.
Yeah, so
I think the Patriots might be able to create some offense, but this is what we wanted. We could be going into Sunday and you only down 6 from me, and
yeah.
Bishop ain't gonna know what to do. This is what we needed, so we ain't agree on no picks.
So we have yet to see. So of course, like I said, that's our time for today. We want to go ahead and get y'all out of here. So that way y'all can enjoy y'all holiday Thursday. That should be back on Friday to talk about these picks and then get the rest of the picks for the rest of the season going into the Thanksgiving holiday. We hope and wish y'all enjoy your holidays. Turn up like I was talking about earlier. Get y'all your ribs, your turkey, fried chicken. Maybe I'll get a chance to try out a fried turkey. I don't know. If I do, I'll definitely will talk about it on Friday. But in any case, we get to rate the macaroni in which we had, the sweet potatoes, and all that. And see, was there something new that was introduced to our palates this Thanksgiving? You never know the conversation on here, but it's always going to be entertaining, enjoying. Ron, anything to say before you get up out of here, brother?
Definitely just sending prayers and positive vibrations out to the culture and the people. Virginia definitely had a mass shooting last night. 6 to 10 family people, not family people, human beings where lives was taken at a Walmart. Speaking of going and getting stuff for Thanksgiving just last night. Tragic for that community, tragic for Colorado. Just want to send out thoughts and prayers to everybody during these holiday seasons. This is when you need to lean on the people that you got the most.
No doubt, of course. I'm gonna say all love from us here on the First Formation Morning Sports Talk. And I'm very sure that is sentiment across, the Bishop and other people who appeared on the show. Be sure to tap in with us, like I said, on Friday as we get to the additional talk more about what happened this past week. Maybe I can say I'm 2 to 3 games, 2 games back in. It remains to be seen. So, of course, from myself, Ron, I'm sure Bishop, and all our other listeners, hopefully Friday we'll be back into where everyone can see it. We don't have to piece together at the last second. We get this fixed. But until then, we greatly appreciate and enjoy your holidays. Eat some fried turkey on my behalf. Appreciate it. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, and we out.